Matt Damon had just won the Oscar. The writers had never sold a script in their lives, and the film barely broke even until it accidentally created the biggest poker boom in history. 8 crazy facts about rounders. This is Studio Scoop. Let's go.
Generally, the rule is the nicer the guy, the poorer the card player. And these guys, despite being cops, are real sweethearts. I'm right on schedule, up 4,200. The morning can't get here soon enough.
Fact 1. Damon came straight from the Oscar. Good Will Hunting won Matt Damon and Ben Affleck the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay in March of 1998. Rounders hit theaters 6 months later that September. Damon was 27 years old. He had just written and starred in one of the best-reviewed dramas of the decade. And he chose a grimy underground poker movie as his follow-up. Not a prestige drama, not a franchise. A card game film set in New York basements. It was a very deliberate bet. He did not want the safe choice. He wanted the interesting one.
I got the full house. I got the queens over the aces.
Fuck. You know what? Fuck you and your never-ending string of boats, okay? Hey.
Fact 2. The writers had never sold a script before. Rounders was written by Brian Koppelman and David Levien. It was the first screenplay they ever sold. Not the first great one, the first one. They were poker players themselves, which is where every line of authentic dialogue, every underground game, every hand played correctly comes from. They did not write what they researched, they wrote what they lived. That one script launched 2 careers that eventually produced the Showtime series Billions, which ran for 7 seasons. Koppelman and Levien became 2 of the most sought-after names in prestige television. The whole thing started with one poker movie the industry almost passed on entirely.
Judge Kaplan was trying to squeeze out a diamond flush, but he came up short, and Mr. Eisen is futilely hoping that his queens are going to stand up. So, like I said, the dean's bet is $20.
Well, kiss my ass. Kiss my ass.
Fact 3. Malkovich invented that accent himself. John Malkovich plays Teddy KGB, the Russian mob-connected card shark who is the film's final boss. The accent he uses, that specific cadence, the way he bites into every single word, was entirely his own creation. He was not asked to do it. He built it himself, drawing from a specific regional Russian dialect and committed to it completely. The result is one of the most quotable villain performances of the entire 1990s. Pay that man his money. If Malkovich had played it straight, Teddy KGB is just a villain. The way he actually played it, Teddy KGB is a character people are still doing impressions of 25 years later.
What'd you say?
Your money. I am still up 20 grand from this last time I stick it in you.
Fact 4. The Oreo tell is based on real poker research. The scene where Mike reads Teddy KGB's Oreo cookie tell is not a movie invention. Physical tells are one of the foundational concepts in real poker theory. Koppelman and Levien spent serious time with professional players while writing, learning how actual high-stakes games function, what real tells look like, and how a skilled player exploits them. The result is a scene that every working poker professional who has ever seen this film calls completely accurate. That is not a small thing. Most Hollywood gambling films get the table mechanics laughably wrong. This one does not.
Should have paid me off on. The fuck did you lay that down?
Fact 5. Poker Pros. Call it the most accurate gambling film ever made. This is not an opinion from film critics. It is a consensus among people who actually play cards for a living. Doyle Brunson, Phil Hellmuth, Daniel Negreanu, and virtually every major name in professional poker have praised Rounders for getting the psychology, the culture, and the mechanics of high-stakes poker right. The dialogue sounds like people who actually play. The decisions at the table make real sense. The underground game culture is accurate. Ask any serious poker player what film they watched when they started. The answer is almost always the same.
Yeah, I'm gonna go all in because I don't think you got the spades.
Ices full, Mike.
Fact 6. It barely made its money back. Rounders was made for approximately $12 million and grossed around $22 million at the domestic box office. Technically profitable, nowhere close to a hit. The studio had expected more from a film starring the guy who just won the Oscar, and the numbers were a genuine disappointment. The film quietly left theaters and was filed away as a modest underperformer. Nobody was planning a sequel. Nobody was calling it a classic. For about 5 years, Rounders was just a film that existed and had not found its audience. Then everything changed.
Facial tics, nervous fingers, a hand over a mouth, the way a cigarette is smoked. Little unconscious gestures that reveal the cards in their hands. We catch everything.
Fact 7. Then Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker. In 2003, an amateur accountant named Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker main event for $2.5 million. He had qualified through a $39 online satellite tournament. ESPN broadcast the whole thing. The coverage was everywhere. Moneymaker had learned to play poker largely by watching Rounders on repeat, and he told anyone who would listen that the film was a direct reason he ever sat down at a card table seriously. What followed was the largest poker boom in history. Online poker exploded overnight. World Series entries went from a few hundred players to tens of thousands within 2 years. The film that barely broke even in 1998 suddenly became the Bible of an entire new generation.
Nope, you didn't do it this time. I'm gonna raise you.
Fact 8. Rounders didn't just predict the poker boom, it caused it. Here is the one that changes how you see this film entirely. The 2003 poker boom did not just happen to coincide with a renewed interest in Rounders. The film is directly cited by Moneymaker, by Phil Ivey, by Daniel Negreanu, and by dozens of players who came up in that era as a primary reason they took poker seriously. The line between a film and a cultural movement is usually blurry. In this case, it is not. One movie, made for $12 million, that barely recouped its budget, went on to reshape a global gambling industry worth billions of dollars annually. Mike McDermott drives west at the end of the film with nothing but his skill and his nerve. In 2003, an entire generation followed him there.
You only start with jacks or better split, nines or better wired, 3 high cards to a flush. If it's good enough to call, you gotta be in there raising, all right? I mean tight, but aggressive. And I do mean aggressive. That's your style, Professor. I mean, you gotta think of it as a war.
Drop a comment. Is Rounders the greatest gambling film ever made, or does something beat it? Smash that like, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next scoop, and we will see you next time.